Township Board of Trustees meeting for December the 10th, 2014. And as is our usual practice, we will begin first with a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight's moment of silence will be in remembrance of the killed in actions, because the flags, if you've all had a chance to notice on Delhi Pike, are just about ready to come down until next year. So tonight, let's again remember our 19 killed in action, and followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. We'll begin with motions for consideration. Mr. Luby?
Motion 2014-213, approve the minutes of the regular Board of Trustee meeting held on November 24th, 2014, and dispense with the reading.
I move motion 2014-213 to approve the minutes.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes.
Motion 2014-214, approve bills for payment.
I move motion 2014-214 to approve bills for payment.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes.
Motion 2014-215, approve the payment of overtime for pay period ending November 25th, 2014.
I move motion 2014-215 to approve payment of overtime.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes.
Motion 2014-216, accept the retirement notice of Raymond J. Fern, Service Worker 1, Public Works Department, effective February 28th, 2015.
I move motion 2014-216 to accept the retirement notice of Raymond Fern.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes.
Motion 2014-217, approve the promotion of Brian D. Sunderhouse from Class 1 part-time firefighter paramedic to Class 2 part-time firefighter paramedic, effective January 1st, 2015, in accordance with Section 20.1 of the Delhi Firefighters Association Collective Bargaining Agreement.
I move motion 2014-217 to approve the promotion of Brian Sunderhouse.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes.
Motion 2014-218, approve the promotion of Jeffrey K. Walters, Class 2 part-time firefighter paramedic to Class 3 part-time firefighter paramedic, effective January 1st, 2015, in accordance with Section 20.1 of the Delhi Firefighters Association Collective Bargaining Agreement.
I move motion 2014-218 to approve the promotion of Jeffrey Walters.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes. Presentations this evening, none, Mr. Landrum. All right. Trustee correspondence, Trustee Oswald.
Nothing, thank you.
Trustee Klug.
Nothing.
Well, I will say something. Thank you to all those brave people who lined the street in the middle of the storm on Saturday morning as we all rode in the truck, soaked and cold. And one of us complained. The entire way down Delhi Pike. But it was a great day for Santa, and it was great to see so many people pull their cars up against the street and open the back so the kids could sit where it was dry. So anyway, thanks to the DBA for a Christmas parade once again in terrible weather, and best luck for next year. Report from the fiscal officer.
We're still looking for new FAB members for 2015. So if you're interested, you can get the application online and submit it to the administration building. Thank you.
Okay. No need for public hearing. Reports from department. I believe Ron Ripperger, Director of Public Works.
Thanks, President Stevie. Just wanted to give the board and the residents a little update on the paving project we have listed there. We were able to get the final surface layer on the majority of the streets, but the 3 streets on the right, we are going to wait till hopefully early spring. It gets warm, we'll put the final surface layer on that. The only downfall of that is it's actually paved now, but there's a few manholes sticking up in the road that we wedged with asphalt. It's not bad, there's not many, but
What does that do for plowing?
slows us down. still be able to plow the majority, but like I said, those roads aren't too bad with them.
Okay.
Also wanted to give a little update as far as county roads. I know Neeb Road was set for paving, and they also didn't get to that this year, and they'll be doing that in the spring. And the chances of Devil's Backbone getting paved next year seem good. Not definite. That's obviously a Hamilton County project also.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
On the Neeb Road, so does that come out of our 14 authorization, or do they bleed that into the 15 authorization?
It was set, Hamilton County had it set up for this year, but I know it's going to be done early spring.
Shouldn't that be a carryover?
Is it a carryover for them?
For them,
It's not going to impact our streets and defer some other streets next year?
No.
Okay.
No, that money's already set aside for them.
Okay.
I see what you're saying. Sorry.
Ron, I had sent a response back to this regarding Balmoral and Glen Eagle, because I know that those residents have put up with a lot with the sewer project.
Mm-hmm.
So have we
I
been
have
able
not
to-
made contact with them yet. That's, I mean, up to the board. I can do that. I know they were still working on that project earlier this week. There was trucks down there.
Yeah. Well, we originally delayed the road project because MSD had to do the sewer project, and there was no reason to start the road project when MSD was going to be trucking everything up and down. But now if we're going to delay paving, I think we should let the residents understand what the issue is.
We can do that.
Okay, that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Landrum? Okay. All right. Is that all from department heads?
I just have just remember to find us on Facebook, Delhi Township, Ohio. And also our budget information, which our budget will not be passed tonight, is planned on December 22nd. It can be still all the information, budget information is found online, so check back. We'll have a final revised that hopefully will be passed on the 22nd, but you can look under our delhi.oh.us, and under the left-hand side is budget, township budget, and you can find all the information there. That's
Okay.
it.
Thank you, Mr. Landrum. Reading of the resolutions, Mr. Luby?
Resolution 2014-229, resolution approving purchase order obligations incurred on behalf of the township by the township administrator, authorizing payment of certain purchase order obligations and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second, the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading.
Second, the motion to dispense with second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Oswald.
Yes.
Mrs. Klug.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2014-230, resolution adopting rules under revised code 121.22F and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second, the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. Landrum?
This is an annual resolution that really just sets your dates and times and how we notify the public of the public meetings and so forth. So it's just an annual,
Okay. All right.
and it stays the same, unchanged via last year or this year.
I move to dispense with the second reading.
Second, the motion to dispense with second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
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 Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Oswald.
Yes.
Mrs. Klug.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2014-231, resolution entering into lease agreement with the Delhi Township Senior Multi-Service, Inc. for use of the Senior Center Community Center during 2015, authorizing the Township Administrator to execute the lease agreement and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second, the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution? Mr. Landrum, what are the dates of that contract? Is it an annual beginning on January 1?
Yes, it's an annual, and really there's Josh met with the seniors, and really there's no changes in this, same amount, same dates. So, you know, I think all parties are happy with the contract.
Very good.
Except there's a 1-year option on this to renew. But
All
other
right.
than that.
I move to dispense with the second reading.
Second, the motion to dispense with second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Oswald.
Yes.
Mrs. Klug.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2014-232, resolution appointing financial advisory board and restating the organization structure and responsibilities and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading.
Second the motion to dispense with second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Oswald.
Yes.
Mrs. Klug.
Yes.
Resolution passes. Mr. Landrum, that is to renew the current people into the next year, and then the
Yes, the max set by this resolution is 7 members. We have 5 currently, and that leaves the 2 vacants. In January or whenever soon as possible we can find 2 additional people, we will amend this resolution with the 2 additional appointees.
Okay, so right now I think it's appropriate that I thank Pete, Charlie, Brian, Dale, and Andrew. Thank you very much for renewing your contract for being fab for the next year. It's appreciated. Okay, resolution.
Resolution 2014-233, resolution entering into service agreement with Buckeye Power Sales Company, Inc. for the maintenance of the township's emergency generator sets, authorizing and directing the Director of Public Works to execute such agreement and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading.
Second the motion to dispense with second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Oswald.
Yes.
Mrs. Klug.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2014-234, resolution entering into service agreement with Thomas J. Dyer Company for the maintenance of the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system and related components at various township facilities, authorizing and directing the Director of Public Works to execute such agreement and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading.
Second the motion to dispense with second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
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 Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Oswald.
Yes.
Mrs. Klug.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2014-235, resolution entering into service agreement with Zuber Safety and Security, LLC for alarm system monitoring and inspection, fire extinguisher suppression services, and hand portable services at various township facilities, authorizing and directing the Director of Public Works to execute such agreement and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading.
Second the motion to dispense with second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
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 Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Oswald.
Yes.
Mrs. Klug.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2014-236, resolution entering into services agreement with Cincinnati Bell Telephone Company, LLC for completely hosted and fully managed voice over IP telephone system named Emerge for the administration and police buildings, authorizing the township administrator to execute necessary documents and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. Landrum?
Yes, so we've talked about this during the budget hearings a little bit. This is will be a new phone system for admin and the police department. This brings us up in technology. This voice over IP system, which means instead of telephone lines, it goes over the internet. It's internet based, basically. There's many other new features. The hope is in the future that all departments will eventually go to this. It'll enable transfers between departments, and the police department will be able to eliminate a separate piece of equipment that they've used for recording. So there's savings there. Even just with admin and police, we're estimating anywhere from $50 to $100 a month savings. That's not huge savings, but you have to understand we're going from an old, used, beat-up car, the phone system, and we're getting a brand new with all the features to it. So it's not only a savings, but we're getting all the latest and greatest technology along with that. So and with savings to boot, so that we're very pleased with that. And it'll be 3 months by the time we order the system and start getting all the phones. Our hardware is not supported anymore. If a phone breaks, we're scrapping for parts. So that will help us in that way as well.
Okay, thank you.
I move to dispense with the second reading.
Second the motion, dispense with second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
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 Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Oswald.
Yes.
Mrs. Klug.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2014-237, resolution authorizing transfer from one appropriation item to another pursuant to revised code 5705.40 and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution? Mr. Landrum?
Yes, everything on the resolution tonight is transfers, so there is no new budgets, no new funding. It's all transfers from one, primarily from to cover salaries, fringe benefits. We're talking from admin, parks, the EMS ambulance fund, and then the only other thing that's not personnel related as far as transferring is we have a couple transfers for the Oakwood Park Lighting District to finish paying for that lighting district for the year. But that's all.
And this is the end of transfers on this year, on 2014's budget.
Unless something really happens on the 22nd, I hope so.
Okay.
I move to dispense with the second reading.
Second the motion, dispense with second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Oswald.
Yes.
Mrs. Klug.
Yes.
Resolution passes. I have no citizens' comments. Trustee Klug, do you have any? Nope. Nope. Okay. All right. Then announcement of community events. Mr. Luby.
The Delhi Township Community Emergency Response Team Holiday Fundraiser Event will be Saturday, December 20th, 2014 at 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. It will be at the Delhi Fire Headquarters at 697 Neeb Road. Get your picture taken with Santa Claus in front of a fire truck for a $5 donation. Proceeds will benefit CERT. The Delhi Township Christmas Tree Recycling Event will be Saturday, January 3rd, 2015 from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It will be at the Delhi Public Works Department at 665 Neeb Road. Please remove all ornaments, lights, and tinsel from your tree and greenery before dropping it off for recycling. Please contact Dan Ryan at 513-451-3300 or dryan@delhi.oh.us with questions. Another announcement, the community recycling bins on Neeb Road. Please be considerate and do not place recycling materials on the ground outside of the bins. For your convenience, the bins are emptied on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Every effort is made to keep the recycling bins compacted in between the removal days. If you would find the bins to be full when you arrive to drop off your recycling, please return at another time. If you have questions about the community recycling program, please contact Dan Ryan at 451-3300 or at dryan@delhi.oh.us with questions. The Delhi Township Veterans Association will again be giving out Christmas baskets to families of military personnel who are deployed away from home during the Christmas holiday. To register for a basket, please call Bob Burke at 922-8229 or Joe Jones at 251-3515 before December 19th.
Thank you, Mr. Luby. We do have reason for executive session this evening, so if I could have the motion, please.
Motion 2014-219 to retire to executive session to consider the compensation of public employees.
I move motion 2014-219 to retire to executive session to consider the compensation of public employees.
Second the motion.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Oswald.
Yes.
Mrs. Klug.
Yes.
Motion passes. The next township meeting will be on Monday, December the 22nd. This is around the Christmas holidays, so there's a little change in that. If you can make note, we'd love to see you all back then. That's Monday, December 22nd. Thanks, everyone.